Boom. And now we're on my YouTube stream. And we'll just do this one off of YouTube, but I am going to go ahead before our next one. We'll do it a couple of weeks. I'm going to go ahead and get this set up with Restream. That looks like our best option. And so I can make it go to Facebook and Twitch and Periscope and heaven only knows what all at the same time.
Is this too weird of lighting?
Well, let's go look. It's not bad. Yeah.
It's weird. I turned on, I have a lamp in the background.
Yeah, I've got...
That looks more normal, but...
Yeah, I wish I could get your audio level up a little hotter.
Well, let me fiddle around a wee bit here.
That's actually a little better.
Okay, I'm going to go in the system settings. I'm using my AirPod Pros.
I'm using an SM7 here, you know.
Yeah, that's, you know, you can see behind me a really good mic system, and that might be what I use tomorrow, except I don't have a computer that has a screen, or a camera rather, on that side of the room, although I know how to fix that.
So everybody, if any of you guys are watching this, because we are now, if you want to pop in and say hi to Tony and me, Tony has promised not to pick his nose. I've promised not to curse whatever. We're just playing around for a few minutes to see how all this new programming stuff is working. I've got my lava lamp over my shoulder there. Look at that, baby. I'm warming up my lava lamp for you guys for tomorrow night. Now, Tony and I, this is just our test flight here tonight. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern time, we are going to be discussing what, Tony? What the heck are we talking about?
We are discussing electric towable RVs and the future of such.
This is going to be fun. Tony and I we've been batting this around for a little bit. And I actually have some experience with talking to engineers about this from the various companies. This is going to be a fascinating thing, and this could in fact help solve the issues that we've seen of electric trucks losing 2/3 or more of their range.
Yeah, a lot.
As soon as you hook an RV. So. See, I'm not seeing anybody. Anybody in there? Is there anybody out there? I think it's a Pink Floyd. Is it Pink Floyd? Yeah. From the wall.
Is my audio better?
You're still a little light here.
Okay, let's see. I can fiddle with it a wee bit more. I've
got you gassed all the way up, all my maximum gain here right now.
Okay.
Let's see if there's any other adjustment. Wait a minute. I've got an interview. Try this. Speak.
Can you hear me now? Ruff. I'm speaking.
I got you at maximum gas.
On the mic.
I've got you at maximum gas right now. It's not bad.
Is that a good way to have me maximum gas when we're talking electric vehicles?
Yeah, more electrons. I'm giving you as much electron spin as I possibly can.
Oh, fantastic.
But, yeah.
So you have your lava lamp, and I have, no, it's on this side. That Winnebago that I bought when I was 10.
Okay, everybody, now what I'll do is I'll post in the comments, but I sent out a 2-minute video earlier that's got a link to the actual seminar, the webinar, or whatever this thing is, that's going to be Thursday night. So you click on that and it'll give you a reminder. I'll start this about 10 of and do a countdown clock. We're going to be going through, this is not one of the slides. This is one of the things I'm just working on. So I'll be able to call up my PowerPoint slides and talk about some stuff, and I'll finish those up tomorrow for you all. But I think that this will be kind of a There we go. I'll have to play with that a little bit more, but that's okay. Yeah, we just back that down. Okay, so that'll work. So right now, Tony, you're in New Mexico. I'm in lovely Funkstown, Maryland, and I'm
Correct.
the delay on this is almost indiscernible.
Yeah, it's amazing how good this is nowadays. And my internet, because of where I am in New Mexico, I'm using uh, Verizon cell phone based internet. So that's a little impressive to me too.
Yeah, this stuff really works well. So it just is this a matter of now. So what'll happen, Tony, as they say stuff, what I can do is drag their comments right smack in the middle of us, and then ask their questions or whatever is how that will work. I'm not
And
seeing
I see
anybody.
the comments pane over on the right. So that's good. Oh, and guest chat. Let's
Yeah, see the
see.
guest chat. So
There are no chat messages.
let's see. I think that'll work.
Do you have a link? Oh, I can share. It's going to be on the RVelectricity YouTube channel. I'm going to look at that and
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah.
not.
There is a link
Uh,
that will get these guys up.
Let me see. Uh-oh.
Anybody out there?
Let's see.
Did you see a comment from me?
Me? No. Let's see.
It's just in the
Is
it's
it,
in the
would it be in
chat.
guest chat? The comments, I have comments and guest chat, and there are no chat
No chat
messages in
messages. Oh,
either
that's
that
just
I
a search
see.
function.
However,
Search a message.
uh,
Wait a minute. Here we go. So this is what this is going to look like. So we just put this up here. So John Mayer, do you want to know where I grew up the first couple years of my life? South Bend, Indiana. How you like that? Ha ha ha. Born in Gary, Indiana, just right around the bend there, and yeah, my grandparents were there. So it'll show up like that, Tony, and then I can leave that question up for a
okay.
few seconds.
And now I am looking at it live on YouTube on my iPad,
Right.
and I'm here obviously. South Bend, Indiana. Next on Monday, I am leaving for Millersburg, Indiana. So
Yay,
not that
Indiana.
that's that exciting,
As they
but
say,
hooray,
Indiana.
Indiana! That's
Indiana wants me. Lord, I can't go back there. No. When that comes on the radio, I start singing it. My wife goes, "What is wrong with you?"
yeah. Well,
Okay.
I can't wait because our trailer is done,
Oh,
and
that's
I get to
right.
go and pick
Tell
it
him
up.
what you're getting. Tell him what you've won, Johnny.
Well, we are getting a 2023 Rockwood Mini Lite 2205S to replace our 2022 Rockwood Mini Lite 2205S that was totaled when we got rear-ended. But this one has the power package, which is installed by ABC Upfitters, and it includes 1,000 watts of solar now and a 400 amp hour lithium battery. So it's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to, especially in Quartzsite, where I believe we are both going to be at the same place. Uh, we are going to be camping off grid and even
I'm working
powering
on it.
our stage.
So I'm going to be actually down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, next Friday and Saturday, doing a bunch of testing on air conditioners, on residential air conditioners. Look, John's sending us another thing. He's 50,
Yeah, I see that.
50 inches.
50 inches. I
Is
hope
that
you're
50 inches of
referring to the
snow or 50
height.
degrees? What, John? What is it?
I hope it's not
I
the
hope it's not 50
height of
inches of
the snow,
snow.
but the height of like a fifth grader or something like that. Maybe you have a child in school and they're 50 inches in height. I hope that's what we're referring to.
I hope. Um, but yeah, so yeah, where was I? I don't know where I am. I will
Oh,
be in Fort
you're
Lauderdale doing
going to
some
Florida.
testing on the soft start home products. So I just got a new super high speed data interface
Oh,
that's NIST calibrated, so I can actually do stuff that I can send off to a government lab, which is I just love this
hmm.
kind of stuff. Oh, John is
50
telling
degrees
us
is good.
degrees. We're a bunch of idiots.
Yeah,
He's saying degrees, guys, not inches of snow. But
yeah,
some people out
degrees is
west,
fine because snow.
yeah. Okay, very good, John. Thank you for clarifying that. But yeah, and then where am I going to be tomorrow? Where am I going to be tomorrow? Oh, I'm going to be talking to one of my
Here.
other writing. Oh, yeah, here tomorrow night. I'm talking to one of my writing colleagues about electric bikes and some of this fire stuff. So Tony's going to get involved. So I've got Tony is the field testing guy in the RV land with the electric bikes. And
I
my
love
other
them.
my
I
other colleague here, Keith Ward, he is actually a competitive bicyclist, lean and mean, and I don't know how many bikes he's got. I think he's got more bikes than I have microphones. Good heavens!
oh boy.
He really, I mean, he's got like he has like a $3,000 or $4,000 one of these test bikes that you just ride, basically ride if you can't inside in case you can't ride outside to keep yourself in peak physical form, which is
Huh.
yeah, that's not me. So I want to get something that when
No.
you twist the
Although
throttle, it goes. You just locked up, Tony.
what we're picking weeks at Fortnite, new electric 3.0 e-bikes. Oh, good. Thank you, John.
So okay, so you can actually see the chat comments down the side, can't you?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay, and then I can just drag him over into the middle. Actually, what I can do here, let's see something. I can make this wider so that they've got, yeah. And we can just leave it up over our faces for a couple of seconds and then kill it. I'm just trying to learn the ins and outs of this thing. So yeah, now you got two new e-bikes coming in, right, Tony? Did you already get them?
Correct. No, I have to go. Well, I they would ship them, but I want to go there because I want to, shake hands and kiss babies. And we're picking up two electric 3.0, the new model with 1,000-watt motor on the back.
Oh, and how much a battery?
Yeah.
And,
It's this. There are two options. There's a smaller and a larger. Uh, I don't remember what the specs were on them, but I'm going to go with the smaller because it's the same battery that we had in our previous electric bikes, which were part of the collision with the travel trailer. And so those bikes had been crushed by the person who rear ended us. However, they were heavy enough that I had taken the batteries out of those uh, to put them on the bike rack on the trailer, and so I still
you get
have the
spare
batteries. So
batteries.
now I have a whole second set of batteries for these electric e-bikes.
And
So
the stuff that I'm
that's fun.
reading, I've never been on one, but the stuff I'm reading on here, they're looking like these have got 40, 50-mile range kind of a thing. I mean, it
Yeah, I mean, well, what I found, it depends. It's like range on an electric car, right? There's so many variables. For example, how much do you pedal versus just twisting the throttle? Or how heavy is the load? Or what's the hills and terrain and all of that good stuff? So, I found I was getting 22 to 24 miles out of a charge.
well, and I know, and I'm also looking. There's a variety of legal things. Once it's what is it, a Type 3 or whatever, it can go like 28 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden it's needs to have a separate license, and you can't ride it on like parks and
Yeah, most of them you can hack. So, but I have to say, considering the tires are like this big around or so, um, 25 miles an hour is it's pretty quick on one of those things.
Yeah.
It's exciting, shall we say?
Well, I biked around all over the place when I was a kid, and when I was in my early 20s, I bought one of these go fast racing bikes, with the swept down handlebars and the toe clips, and
Yeah,
you could, the skinny little tires that you crank up to, 1,000 psi. Well, slight exaggeration, but a lot of
right.
psi's, and you could feel every little bump in the road, and that thing was like,
Oh yeah,
man, it was go fast bike.
and
But
yeah, the
now
seat
I'm not.
was
I don't need to go fast.
no. Well, and the seats in those, I remember them being particularly invasive.
Yes,
How's
yes.
that
There's
for?
not much to the seat. Everything is like, and I
No.
still have this hanging upside down down in the basement. I may pull it down, put new tires on it because it's been sitting there for 35 years or hanging there for 35 years. Um, but again, I'd probably kill myself on this thing. So, and back then, I mean, there were no helmets, there were no nothing. We didn't do anything. Now, of course, what I'm working on is a study, and Tony here is going to help with this too, about is these electric bike batteries that are burning up, and and it's a fairly nasty fire with this kind of thing. So one of the things that I did find, and I didn't even know it
Yeah.
existed, one of my readers said, you can get a lithium ion battery charging bag, and it's a bag that's fireproof. She's looking at me. Did you know about this, Tony? I didn't know about this till yesterday. It's a bag you can get that you can drop your batteries in, put the charging cable into, and in case it catches on fire, it's kind of like a fire protection safe in reverse. You put the hot stuff on the inside, and you can get them on Amazon for, I don't know, 25, $30.
Hmm. No,
Yeah.
I would like to see stats on brands of bikes that are burning up. For example, we all remember those stories from several years back where all the kids were getting hoverboards and
Yes.
a bunch of them lit up. And I wonder if better bikes have better charge controllers and better BMS,
Well,
or are they just shopping?
so John says he had a recumbent trike, 18-inch with a wide seat. That's what we need nowadays, is the wide seat. But oh, cool. So John, so you have, this is like, we're your private little chat room here, and it's great. But yeah, the problem with the bike. So here's the thing is interesting because I just read this report from the fire marshal or whatever in New York, because in New York City they've had like 200 bike fires just this year alone and 6 deaths. And they said something of the cheap batteries do not have a BMS controller in them. And only the expensive batteries have a BMS. I thought they all had a BMS. I thought they all had a battery management system. Am I being dense? What do you know?
I,
Do you
that,
know anything, Tony? Or what
I
do
don't, but that it doesn't surprise me, um, because I would imagine some of these low grade volume producers are probably cutting every corner they can, and don't have if you're buying a bike from some company overseas and there's really no legal recourse, they're like, yeah, yeah, you want a cheap bike, you're getting a cheap bike. So perhaps it's that, and that makes a lot of sense to me.
and right.
The $350 bike is not going to get the same quality components as $1,000 bike with a brand name and a reputation that makes a
Look, we've got
difference.
some more talkie talks. Green River Property Management. I have a rad with 70-watt battery and it works great. I've had it over a year. This is going to work. What do you think, Tony? This
I
is going to work okay, huh?
Before, I think so. Before I got my first electric e-bikes, I had the rad mini step through, and that thing was really well made. I was very impressed with that. I liked it. So I liked it quite a bit. I thought there were some components of it that were better than the electric. It was also more money, but as with anything, you get what you pay
Money.
for.
Money's
So
highly
yeah,
overrated. You-
it is.
The
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but
Rads are great bikes.
Again, now what was sold my wife on this idea, because she and I used to bike around a little bit when we were younger, when we were first married, and she goes, I just don't like to pedal hard. And I said, well, darling, this thing here, you can, pedal a little or as much as you want. We're very close to like the C&O Canal. I mean, there's some really, really great bike paths around here, which is why we would get one that had wide enough tires to be able to do that. Okay, so let's see. Mike Collins. Okay, I'm just looking at some of these. He says, Green River Property. I have the Mini 2 1, whatever. I've got the Mini 2 1.
Yeah, that's the one I had, and I just really liked it. And I just got into a partnership with Electric, and so they gave us bikes to write content, and so you get a free bike, and well, then the one you had before gets sold.
Yeah. So. Well, that's what happens with the audio gear and everything that I do. Manufacturers are always sending me stuff to play with, and then all they want to do is they say, "Well, I want to send you the new one because you're showing the one from last year." So then I have to give up the old one. They send me the new one. That's just how that works. And I've done audio stuff for I've been writing for the magazines, audio magazines, for like 40 years. But when you go see those big things at NAMM and everything, so and you guys may or may not know, I am a pro sound engineer, and I've done sound for a bunch of presidents and Beyonce and REM and Black Sabbath and Jimmy Buffett and I almost did Tiny Tim, but he died of a heart attack the day before I did his show. With the tiptoe through the tulips with a ukulele. So sad. So sad. But no, I've done sound for so much stuff. And a lot of times I would be hired to do generators and batteries, and I would do all of the weird stuff, and I would have to interface with British Power and guys coming from other countries, and it's a real trip. But that's a young man's game. There's a lot of work. I mean, it's grueling.
Yeah, because you don't just bring in the gear you need. You have to bring in backups and then backups for those backups and what ifs.
Backups.
And, my gosh.
Right. And then I had to make it work. Oh, I do have, the one fun thing, if you ever heard of the band Chumbawamba, and they did Tub Thumpin'.
Yes.
And they were on the roof of that thing. When they made their big debut on the roof down in Washington, D.C., I was the sound engineer that did that show. And I was 1 foot in front of the band, literally 1 foot, but 40 feet down, 40 feet down. So we actually set the stuff up on the roof and gave them some scaffolding and everything, to have them on. And then I was on the sidewalk directly down, so I could look up and I could just barely see where the top edge was. So the only thing I could hear to mix was the sound bouncing off the building behind me. And they said, we only want to get through like 3 songs. When Tub Thumpin' was their 3rd song. And we're expecting the police are going to break the doors down because we don't have any permits or anything. And I'm going, oh man, I don't want to go to jail. This is just really bad. And they said, don't worry, get the first song going, walk away from the mixer and blend into the crowd. Because I had a mixer that was like 6 feet wide, thousands, well, maybe not, hundreds of knobs on it. And I did. And they said, because if you walk away from it, the cops will look at that. No one will know what to do because they look terribly intimidating. And he said, but if you're standing there, they will force you to shut it down or arrest you because there's no permits. And I'm like, So, okay. So I got it going, got the first song going, walked away, just kind of hung out in the crowd and listened to the thing. They got through Tub Thumpin'. They broke the doors down. They were arrested and dragged off. It was a show, man. It was a show. And my mom's watching this on TV because they had helicopters and everything else around. And my mom's going, I was looking for you, Michael, and I didn't see you on TV. And I'm going, no, you really didn't want to see me on TV because if you saw me on TV, you'd be dragging me out in handcuffs. And I said, if you see me during a live thing, something has gone terribly wrong. Really, really wrong. So no. I walk behind cameras. I wear black. My job is to be not on camera. That's how that works. Okay. What do you think, Tony? Is this all going to work?
I'm pretty happy with it. I have some interesting things to share tomorrow. I got to speak with the head of the Lippert Edison project today in Detroit. So
Yo, baby.
pretty
And
interesting.
and
Yeah.
and yesterday I just did a an interview. Well, I wasn't an interview, so I was part of a webcast where for five of the leaders in the RV industry from Thor and all the other companies, and for an article I just wrote and sent in for RV Business, which I think is going to be published tomorrow. So I can talk about what the RV manufacturers themselves are seeing as the near future, the very, very near future of electric vehicles. And they look at this as a partnership between the electric tow vehicles and the trailers themselves. So that's a pretty interesting perspectives on this. And I got the typing questions and they answered a few of my questions. So it was really kind of fun. And most of those guys I know because I've talked to a lot of them one-on-one.
Their perspective on some of what they perceive out there and reality is a little different from what I've talked to, and it's interesting to speak with some of the decision makers and say, well, you might be hearing it from the head of a dealership, but the people on the ground, who you and I talk to, Mike,
Yeah.
so often have a different perspective. So, but
And
not always.
it's
But that's
interesting.
who they're
They are
talking. You know,
certainly paying attention. And one of the things I thought was very interesting, they said one of the biggest problems is a lack of education for the public and dealers as well, but the public as to how this stuff works, the expectations of this. So Tony and I did, and we kind of did a tongue-in-cheek joke, but it's a real thing. So Tony, how many batteries, 100 amp batteries or amp hour batteries are in a 5-gallon tank of propane?
100.
100. Yeah, 100 lithium,
Isn't that nuts?
200 lead acid batteries, approximately, or AGMs. About 200 batteries is the equivalent energy to a 20-pound tank of propane. And I ran through all the numbers and everything. And what was it? It was 3,000 pounds worth of lithium and 14,000 pounds worth of lead acid. I mean, it's just insane numbers.
It's the energy density of
Liquid fuels,
petroleum
yeah.
fuel is yeah, it's really high.
Yeah,
So
and remember, half of the energy, it's sucking stuff from it's sucking stuff from the oxygen from the air too, and using that. So it's not like rockets have got to carry liquid oxygen or whatever with them too. And I'm prepared to speak a little bit about lithium mining, issues with that. They're thinking about a hydrogen economy, and not hydrogen, but hydrogen fuel. But if you look at the latest rocket that they're zipping around the moon and coming back right now, they had to delay that 3 times because they had liquid hydrogen leaks. Hydrogen's a tiny, 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 tiny little atom, man. It's as small as you can get. It leaks through everything. Well, we will be ready to talk.
Storing it is interesting. Yeah.
We'll be ready to talk more tomorrow. But right now, I'm going to sign off. Thank you guys here, Green River Property. Thank you, John Meyer. We'll leave this up for people to watch just for grins. But we'll see you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll make sure that there's links down in here. Plus, I've posted stuff on my Facebook, in my Substack. And also, if you just go into my RV Electricity group, you'll see there's the link for tomorrow. So if you click on that, it'll give you a reminder. And I'll be on about 1:15. Tony will be ready to roll, and there we go.
Yep. So, well, I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow night. Thank you to Mike Collins. I believe that's Green River Property Management's human name. And thank you, John. And well, he said Mike Collins under Green River Property Management, so I'm going to assume that's his name.
We're going to assume that.
And John Meyer.
Right. Okay, very good. Thanks for playing along. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Pass this on to all your friends.
Take care.
Thank you.
Yeah, or even